Mechanism of respiration. It involves following process like breathing, external respiration, internal respiration, and cellular respiration. Breathing. It's a physical process of gaseous exchange between the atmosphere and the lungs. It involves inspiration and expiration that involve part of the thoracic cage, ribs, sternum, and the intercostal muscles and muscles of the diaphragm. Inspiration is an active process that involves taking the atmospheric air into the lungs. Due to the pressure gradient formed between the lungs and the atmosphere, the diaphragm becomes flat and moves downwards. The external intercostal muscles contract, the ribs and sternum moves upward and outward, leading to an increase in the thoracic volume and a decrease in pressure. As a result, air from the atmosphere rushes into lungs, causing inspiration. Expiration involves relaxation of the diaphragm and is pushed upwards to become dome shape. The intercostal muscles also relax, pulling the rib cage inwards and downwards to decrease the thoracic volume, leading to increase in pressure in the thorax and the lungs. Thus, air from the lungs rushes out, causing expiration. One breath includes one inspiration and one expiration. External respiration, exchange of gases at the alveolar level. Alveoli are surrounded by a network of capillaries of pulmonary arteries and veins, and alveolus and the capillary wall are internally lined by simple squamous epithelium resting on a basement membrane. Together, they form the respiratory surface through which gases exchange occurs between the alveolar air and the blood. The gases diffuse from an area of higher partial pressure to an area of lower partial pressure. The partial pressure of carbon dioxide of blood in the pulmonary capillaries is 45, while partial pressure of carbon dioxide in alveolar air is 40. This carbon dioxide diffuses from the capillaries into the alveolus. Partial pressure of oxygen of blood in pulmonary capillaries is 40, while partial pressure of oxygen in alveolar blood is 104. As a result, oxygen diffuses from alveoli to the capillaries. Internal respiration. It involves transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide and between blood and cells via RBCs and plasma. Transport of oxygen. 3% of oxygen is transported in a dissolved state by the plasma, while 97% is by hemoglobin in the RBCs. So hemoglobin plus oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin dissociates at the tissue to release oxygen. The relationship between oxyhemoglobin saturation and oxygen tension is called oxygen dissociation curve. It is a sigmoid and shift towards the right due to increased hydrogen concentration, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, temperature, and diphosphoglycorate formed in the RBCs during glycolysis. It lowers the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. Bohr's effect is the shift of oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve due to change in partial pressure of carbon dioxide in blood. Haldon's effect: due to oxyhemoglobin, pH of blood decreases and HCO3 changes into water and carbon dioxide. In the tissue with low partial pressure of oxygen and high partial pressure of carbon dioxide, oxyhemoglobin dissociates to release oxygen into the tissue cells. Transport of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is transported by RBC and plasma in three different forms. By plasma as dissolved carbon dioxide, that is 7%, as bicarbonate ions, 70%, and by red blood cells, 23%. 7% of carbon dioxide is transported as carbonic acid. So carbon dioxide plus water, it forms carbonic acid. 70% carbon dioxide diffuses into the RBCs, where it combines with water in the presence of carbonic anhydrase to form carbonic acid. Being unstable, carbonic acid dissociates into HCO3 and H+ in the presence of enzyme carbonic anhydrase. The accumulated HCO3 moves out of the RBC in exchange with chlorine. This movement of chloride ion is known as chloride shift or Hamburger phenomenon. HCO3 in plasma forms sodium bicarbonate, potassium bicarbonate with sodium potassium ions. H+ is taken up by hemoglobin to form deoxyhemoglobin, reduced hemoglobin. At the level of the lungs, in response to the low partial pressure of carbon dioxide of the alveolar air, hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ions recombine to form carbonic acid, which in turn yields carbon dioxide and water. 23% of carbon dioxide binds with an amino group of the hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin. In the alveoli, due to low partial pressure of carbon dioxide, it decomposes to release the carbon dioxide. Cellular respiration. It occurs inside the cell where food is oxidized and ATP is generated. It occurs in two steps: oxidation of complex organic molecules into simple inorganic molecules, releasing heat energy, and phosphorylation, which involves the trapping of heat energy to form ATP molecules. ATP is the energy currency of the cell.